Prime Minister-elect Benjamin Netanyahu is in talks to form Israel's next government. The Likud chairman has been holding meeting after meeting with his coalition partners from the religious Zionism, Shas, and United Torah Judaism parties to figure out how government ministry posts are going to be distributed. Now, election results show that Netanyahu has secured 65 seats between the four right-wing and religious parties in his coalition, which is clearing the path for what could finally be a stable government here in Israel. But what will the policies of this coalition actually look like, and how will it affect the cost of living? Everyone wants to know. And joining us now is economic analyst Alex Coman and Ben-Dror Yemini, senior journalist for Israel's Yediot Achronot daily newspaper. So Ben-Dror, I'd like to start with you. We have you joining us from Zoom. Tell us about where negotiations stand right now. So far, what do we know about what Netanyahu is promising to the parties in his coalition?
First of all, I mean, if somebody thought that it's going to be in something like 2-4 days, it's not going to happen. It's going to be much more difficult than what was appreciated by so many people. So it's going to take quite time, because there are so many question marks, and I would even say that the main question mark is not about the ministers and who is going to be the treasury minister and so on. The main problem is with the basic principles of this government. What will be with legal reform, for example? Some of the coalition parties push to actually do everything in order to not to let the Supreme Court decide many questions, and others are not willing to this kind of revolution that will actually delete in a way the Supreme Court. So the big debate is about the legal system, and it's not going to be solved in a very short time.
Now, Alex, we know that the cost of living has been one of those main issues that we're hearing Israeli voters claim that they care the most about and say that they voted accordingly for, although we know that that's not necessarily the truth when we see the outcome here. The incoming government here, can we expect them to make a major difference when it comes to the cost of living in this country?
First of all, I'm very skeptical about that. I'm very skeptical that this is going to be an issue at the top of their priorities, because it's a very ironic situation. It's a very polarized situation, because this government, on one hand, is supported by extremely religious parties, which want support for their Torah learning voters. And on the other hand, they have libertarian, the Zionists. So I've never seen economically a more polarized situation. On one hand, you have people who are subsidized. On the other hand, you have people who are against.
Right.
And so I don't think that the government is going to have too much money to afford, for instance, selling. One of the major issues with cost of living is to reduce the cost of land, which mostly belongs to the government. I find it very difficult to believe that the government is actually going to cut down the cost of land. Yeah. So in the past, this was not one of the top priorities of Benjamin Netanyahu. He actually said it openly. So I'd be surprised to see him change his opinion.
What about this, he was touting in this campaign that he was going to make it free for kids 0 to 3 to go to nursery school.
Oh yeah, that could be. That could be. But he was also saying things which were pure demagogy, such as that mortgages are not going to be increased with interest rates, which is total joke.
There's just no way to make that happen.
No way.
We're going to get back to that. But Ben-Dror, is there any chance that we could see Netanyahu perhaps convincing a left-wing or a center party to join this coalition?
Well, according to the public declarations of both sides, it's not going to happen. But we have some rumors which are saying that it might happen, and he is even beginning kind of maybe asking some people from the other parties, which is not part of his bloc, that maybe, just maybe. I know that more people right now, we have to pay attention to the fact that many people, commentators and others, are beginning to say, maybe this is a solution. By the way, I have to admit that for myself, I think that a unity government will be a much better government for the benefit of Israel. I think that a very narrow, right-wing, extreme government
the question
is not the things that we need. So right now it doesn't look like if the option is on the table, but it might happen. We have to admit it.
All right. So Alex, last question, quick answer here. Who is the most qualified to tackle Israel's economic issues in this coalition?
Well, Netanyahu is formidable at juggling, opposing things, negotiating with people who have different opinions. Much of what we heard before is probably for bargaining, for balance of power things. So I think Netanyahu would do a good job.